Picture this: Southeast Italy, the 2nd of August to 16 BC. Two ancient superpowers are locked in a death struggle. This is the stage for the Battle of Cannae, a day that would live in infamy for the Roman Republic and cement the legend of one of history's greatest military minds, Hannibal Barca. The Second Punic War was raging, and Hannibal had brought the fight to Rome's own backyard. He'd crossed the Alps with his elephants, a feat that was already legendary, and had won several key victories. But Rome wasn't backing down. They were furious, and they were determined to crush this Carthaginian invader once and for all. So, they mustered one of the largest armies they had ever assembled, some say up to 86,000 men. Leading the Romans were two consuls, Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Turennius Varro. They had different ideas on how to fight, but the aggressive Varro was in command on the day of the battle. He packed his legions into a deep, dense formation, aiming to punch straight through the Carthaginian center. It looked like a foolproof plan. Brute force against a smaller enemy. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything, because Hannibal wasn't just any general. He was a master of psychology and tactics. He anticipated the Roman move. He placed his weakest troops, his Gallic and Spanish infantry, in the center, forming a thin, crescent shape that bulged out towards the Romans. He knew they would fall back. In fact, he was counting on it. On his flanks, he positioned his elite African infantry, the veterans of his campaign, and his superior cavalry. As the battle began, the massive Roman force surged forward, just as Varro planned. They crashed into Hannibal's weak center. The Gauls and Spaniards began to give way, slowly retreating. The Romans, sensing victory, pushed deeper and deeper into the bulge, which was now bending inward, becoming a U-shape. They were so focused on breaking the center that they didn't realize what was happening. They were walking into a trap. Once the Romans were fully drawn in, Hannibal gave the signal. His elite African infantry on the wings turned inward, slamming into the exposed Roman flanks. At the same time, his cavalry, having already defeated their Roman counterparts, swept around to attack the Roman rear. Suddenly, the mighty Roman army was completely surrounded. The trap had snapped shut. What followed was not a battle, but a slaughter. Packed so tightly, they could barely lift their weapons. The Romans were systematically cut down. By the end of the day, tens of thousands of Roman soldiers lay dead on the field, including the consul Paulus. It was one of the bloodiest days in military history and Rome's most devastating defeat. Cannae became the textbook example of a perfect battle of annihilation, the double envelopment, a maneuver still studied by military strategists today. It was Hannibal's masterpiece, a stunning victory against impossible odds, and a brutal lesson that in war, it's not always the size of the army that matters, but the genius of its commander. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.